For those of you who are not familiar with our company, this is an overview on the slide. We've been in business forever. All of our customers are manufacturers or distributors. We've been in business forever. We're located in Cincinnati, Ohio. And what we do is we help you make Macola easier to use. We do that with one-on-one training and consulting, and we do that with developing products that allow you to make Macola easier to use. In our meeting today, a little housekeeping. Bart Fannin, our president, is on, and if you have questions, please key them in on the question chat, and he will answer that. If there's some questions that apply to everybody, then periodically we'll review those questions and answer them to the whole group. There may be some questions that need further clarification or discussion after this, so we can arrange to meet with you afterwards. This is for those of you who are just learning about us and our products. This is a list of our products. The Pulse dashboard is our key product that's been out there for 15 years. Our Pulse dashboard and analytics software, but we have other software, Pulse Archive. Nobody wants to purge data, but they'll archive it. So the idea being that you create another database and you archive all this data that you may want to look at some point in the time. We have the ability to import customer orders, import customer payments. We integrate with EDI. We have just a whole spectrum, but we're going to focus on dashboard today. So this is kind of our story. Maybe starting 15 years or so ago, we used to develop tons and tons of crystal reports. I'm a crystal reporting expert, maybe 2,000 or 3,000 reports. But the idea is people wanted pre-developed reports. They didn't want to go through the effort of developing the report, testing the report, getting it. So they wanted reports that were pre-developed, field tested. Nobody wants to be the first one to test the report. So that was part of the problem. People did not want these do-it-yourself reports. The Macola reports, as you know, export to Excel either not at all or poorly. So that was another mandate. They wanted, for people that like using Excel, they wanted to be able to export everything cleanly to Excel. And they wanted to be able to change the reports around, and we'll show you how easy that is, change the reports around without any IT assistance or assistance from us as well. But the big thing that they wanted was the Macola database is very, very good, but it needs a lot of extra enhancements in the area of inventory metrics. So we created that, and you'll see that as we go along. And our emphasis in dashboard was this is an analytics application, analytics program, not just regurgitation of what's in Macola. So these are not file listings. The idea with most of the reports is to be able to analyze your operations and make better and faster decisions. So this was our solution to come up with dashboard that's real time all the time. The end users can modify the reports. Everything's been field tested. Everything exports to Excel, and we created these additional inventory and operational metrics, and you'll see those as we go along. So the result is to be able to have additional time in your job to make better and faster decisions. Yeah, these are some things that people have said about our software, the best analytical tool I've used in my professional career. Okay, so and this is a list of the modules, and we'll show you that in the software. In addition to this, we've developed our own MRP application. Customers wanted real-time MRP, which means they want the regeneration to happen in a couple minutes rather than a couple hours, and they want to have this work for multiple locations MRP. So that's what we have there. I'm going to turn this off, and we're going to jump into our. So this is the Pulse dashboard, and one thing I didn't mention before is everybody wants the ability to look at a number and have it be able to drill down and see the underlying details. We could even do that in our graphs. You just single click. I'm just single clicking on a field. So let's take a look at this right here. This will give us a kind of an overview of what we have. Everything has drilled down. So here's orders entered, invoiced, and open orders, month to date versus budget, year to date, and so on and so on. And when you click on here and show show the details. The details can be all kinds of different. This is a summary by customer, but I could show a summary by customer showing details or showing margins. But the point that I want to make here is you can move these around if you want the customer name to be on the left. But let's say that I want to add the customer state. I'm the salesperson. I want to be able to look at it by state. So what we've done, this grid right here, we call it the column chooser. We've renamed all the fields in Macola to what we call business English. So I'll bring this field in and we'll take a look at this. So in other words, you don't have to know the technical name. If you do know the technical name, you can hover over it and see the technical name, but we've converted everything to business English. So I added that customer state. I'm going to put that over here and so on. So the idea being that the next time that I come in here, the very next time, the changes that I made they're all in the same place where they were before. So the idea is you're going to get pre-developed drill downs, but it's going to allow you to add other things. Let's say you wanted to add a customer type. So we're just going to type in the word TYPE. And we're going to add the customer type and the customer type description. And there we are. Okay, so now you know everything has drill downs. Everything has the ability to move things around. It remembers where you were. If you're making a change to your screen, this does not apply to anybody but you. So when you go back into that screen, so there's no fear of you making a change and affecting somebody else. Okay, so today we're talking about advanced features. And so as we go through some of the screens, I'm going to walk through the different modules and then we'll focus on different reports. But I'm going to show you things that we've added. Remember, the Macola database is very, very good, but it needs to be manipulated or rearranged to give you the information that you want. So this is the very first one that we're looking at here. This is we're aging open purchase orders. So what this is telling you is that in the next 30 days, you have to have $321,000 of available cash to pay for purchase orders that are scheduled to come in the next 30 days, and then so on. I mentioned before that the graphs all have drill down. This is an application I'm going to show you now that I have to move this thing so I can. This report, when we first started the software, we thought we knew everything. Of course, we don't. So over time, our customers have suggested reports or worked with us to design reports that would be helpful to them. So this report that shows open orders, the idea is that I'm obligated, and this includes past due, I'm obligated to $95,000, $96,000 worth of orders, but this is a forewarning that I don't have that available to ship. I only have 37 of the 96 to be able to ship. The rest is made up of back orders, shortages, orders on hold, orders from yesterday that we forgot to post. And then we're allowing you then to age this as you want to. Again, everything has drill down. So this is an example of a customer came and wanted to be able to have a better report. These reports are all, you can right click and copy the report so you can create your own tabs, which I've done here. This is my management overview and my management inventory overview and operations overview. So what I've done then is, if you're the inventory manager, I've given you a head start. I've copied and created this custom graph here, or custom series of reports. So that's showing you that you can right click, copy, paste it in. You can move them all around, rearrange them as you want to. I guess while we're here, let's talk about another report. Again, the Macola inventory module is excellent, but it doesn't give you any financial forewarning as to what part of your inventory is dead. So this is not shortages or low inventory. This is inventory aging where you haven't, I'll use this example. We have 48 parts that we've not touched in 25 to 48 months. And if you want, in all of these also, you can change these settings around and make them more to what you want. So this is just an example of creating some reports. This is the management operations report. Okay, moving right along, Macola has very good ability to track accounts receivable, but we had a focus group about 10 years ago. This was our original screen for accounts receivable aging, but our customers wanted to be able to show the customer name, average days to pay, the customer phone number, who the contact person is. That's all relatively easy. Then they wanted to be able to have customer collection notes. So we've added collection notes to the Macola database. So now what you can do is, if you're on the phone with a person, you can, and they're saying, call me back in a week or so, you can look at that into the future. And what you can also do, I didn't mention to you, is that all of these reports, let me go into collection notes, all of these reports are, here, I didn't want to do this. All of our reports have drill down and can be emailed, can be PDF'd. So here's an example where maybe you're talking to this customer and they're giving you a hard time. You know, I pay my bills, don't call me. What you can do here is, this is like a mini aging. So you can go up here to the print function. And what you can do then is to email them a PDF copy of this while you're on the phone. So these are ideas that were generated by our customers in our focus groups. So again, we have collection notes at the customer level and at the apply to level. We've also added inventory turns. So let me bring up this. In my database here, our imported products are hot. So one of the things that we tried to do is to add the ability to see what's your on-time shipping performance, or what is the shipping performance for this item. And the way we've structured is, you can look at it for the whole company, which doesn't tell you very much, but you can look at it by customer, by territory, by sales rep, by individual customer, or by, in this case, by the product category. So our imported products are hot right now, but look what's happening. Our ability to ship on time is sporadic, not very good. And talking about this kind of an analysis here, let's talk about inventory turns. So again, the data is there in Macola, and we're just reading the data, and we're coming up with the ability to look at inventory turns. So one of the nice things about this is, this may not apply to your company or your situation this moment, but inevitably the boss is going to come and say, Bill, Mary, I want you to look into inventory turns. And you can say, wow, this is already here. We can look at inventory. How do you want to look at it? By customer, by product category? What do you want? A customer would not be one. But inventory turns depend on the proper classification of your A, B, and C inventory class. And if you've used that in Macola, you'll learn that when you assign a brand new item, instead of making it a C item, Macola makes it an A item. So what did we do? We developed the ability to reclassify your inventory turns. Your inventory class, your ABC classes, and they should be separated. Um, the reclassification is separately calculated for purchase versus manufactured items. So what this is doing is it's taking 12-month total usage, has nothing to do with the quantities. It's the dollar usage. So now that you have that working, maybe you have to recalculate that once a month or once a quarter. Some of these reports now will be one of the things that Dashboard does is it pinpoints a lot of things that you need for cleanup. And a lot of people say, oh no, this is overwhelming. But cleanup is never ending. It's a part of a never ending journey of cleaning up stuff. So the ABC classes and other things. Okay. My example here, I just had the ability to look at, like, here's margins by customer, and here's our on-time shipping again. So in my example here, and everything you're seeing today, these are screens that come pre-developed, pre-packaged with our software. This is customer analysis. We looked at product category analysis. Here's the territory analysis or the salesperson analysis. Okay, back when, before COVID, we developed what we call the cash flow forecast. And all of you, somewhere in your company, there's an individual who does this. If you're doing it manually, it's quite a chore. But we decided that, our customers decided that just putting in accounts receivable aging by customer based on their terms code was not the way to do this, because nobody pays based on the terms. They pay based on their individual average days to pay. So we programmed this so that these numbers for accounts receivable are based on average days to pay for each customer. Okay, so now let's move forward to COVID. COVID is starting, everybody's working from home, everybody's not sure if they're working, they're trying to figure out what's ahead of them. And so the people in the finance area start thinking about, wow, probably the first thing that's going to be happening is our customers are going to pay us late. So down here, this was our what if analysis. What if all of our customers paid us 15 days late? So look at this number. This is if they pay based on terms, or their average days to pay, 2 million. If they pay us 15 days late, there's a $1,200,000 shortfall. So very, very startling, shocking. So this has been very, very, and what you do in Dashboard is you double click this blue bar up here. I can right click and I can say refresh, or I can double click, but that's how. So for those of you who are doing cash flow forecasts, I think this took 1 second. Okay. In the financial module, we are in the business of analysis rather than in the business of financial reporting. So when people say, can this produce an income statement? No, the Macola add-in, the Excel add-in, or using the F9 software is a much better investment. But we're in the business of providing analysis. So this is kind of by department, and this is the activity to be able to look at balance sheet items or P&L items month by month by month. So moving right along for customer service.
Can I interrupt for a moment?
Oh, sure.
There was a comment that they were having trouble hearing you. I was trying to verify if that's still the case with them, but if anybody else is having trouble, feel free to mention it in the chat. I'm hearing you okay, but I'm not sure.
I'm using my lavalier microphone, but I think that with GoToMeeting, sometimes that Well, here, let's do this. I'm going to disconnect it right now. And I'll use the speakers in my computer. Can everybody still hear me?
I hear you okay.
Somebody clicked on the question pane.
Okay, the comment was that they're hearing me a little bit better, but that you're a little bit more quiet than me, but they're hearing you fine.
Okay. I'll try to talk a little bit louder, but I didn't want to shout with the
Yep.
Okay. All company. One comment I would make also, people say, well, this is really good, but we have all this stuff. You know, we have 400 crystal reports and 25 SSRS reports, and we're using one of the Microsoft tools, and we have all this. But yes, that is true. Every company that's successful, they have some sort of mechanism to get the information. But what we're trying to do is to put it all into one place and allow you to find it easily. Back in the days of crystal reports, customers maybe would invest $3,000 or $4,000 in a report, and then 6 months later they would say, "Well, I can't find the report. I lost the report." And it's like, "Oh my gosh, you lost a $4,000 or $5,000 report." Of course, we keep all the backups. So the idea is that everything would be in one place. Hopefully, everybody's hearing me okay. So in customer service, one of the key reports is a report that shows what customer orders can we not ship on time this week or the next. So I'll show you how this works. I want to look at it the next let's say it's Monday morning, and I want the system to tell me the customer orders. I'm the customer service manager. What are the orders that I'm not going to be able to ship out on time? And just for those of you who are wondering how we did this, this is a full MRP regeneration. And what we're doing is we're looking at finished goods that are on customer orders. So just as to test this, and you have drill down on each one. Green is good, red is bad, white is a replenishment. So on this particular one, we have 2 orders that we can ship. The third order, we're short. We have a replenishment coming in, but it's coming in too late. It's using this demand replenishment date as to sequence this. So let's look at another one here. Here we have a situation. We have tons of orders, but we do have a replenishment, but it's not enough quantity. We go negative again, and then so the idea being that maybe you lean on production or you lean on purchasing, and you can change the dates around, or you have to call the customer and say, "I'm sorry," or renegotiate a date. So this is the beginning of trying to forecast your ability to smoothly run your operation. So let's say it's Friday, or maybe by Wednesday you've gotten things settled down, and I wanted to say, okay, let's look at over the next 15 days instead of the next 5 days. Again, that was a full MRP regeneration, and now we're able to look out. One of the things that's unique about this is, in some cases, you'll find that there's no replenishment in sight. We are in the process, this is a question, we are in the process of looking at developing a module for lead time reduction. So I'll show you an example of what we developed some years ago, maybe by product category. I'll blow this up a little bit. We want the ability to reduce our total from the date that we receive the order to when we invoice it. Maybe we're looking at, maybe we have an engineering review that has to go at the beginning. Maybe we have this green, for example, is when we release the production order. But the idea being that we're looking at it month by month and seeing, are we doing better or are we doing worse? Like down here, this is entered to when we issue the production work order. You can see in March it was 12 days, now it's 5 days. So we're making good progress there. Up here, for example, we're not. So if you're on the journey of lead time reduction, we'd like to hear about that. This is, you saw this a second ago. This is part of our chart here, just a rudimentary chart. Here's the raw data, but we want to be able to produce graphs later. So that's going to be part of this customer service module. Okay, sales and marketing. There's no place in Macola to take your sales budget, your sales forecast, and compare it to actual. So what we did is we worked with one of our customers, and they wanted the ability to import their budget from Excel and then maybe make adjustments, or they wanted to be able to create a budget from history and then make adjustments, or they wanted to be able to apply different metrics to each month, and the ability to have a budget by customer, by sales rep, by item, by customer and item, by ship to location, item and location. This actually is the MRP budget, and then salesperson. So, and this budget can be dollars or it can be units. So for those of you who measure yourself in terms of units versus dollars, it works both ways. So now that you have this, oh, and you can have an unlimited number of budgets. So now that you have it, I'm going to look at two reports here by product category and by customer. So here we are, year to date, or month to date, actual versus budget, year to date margin, year to date budget. Same thing down here. So once you have this ability to compare, now you can, the only difference between these two reports is this first column. It's the same report, just with a different column. So now you can, and what we've added, just to give you an idea, I'll put in month, these are our month to date. We've added about 300 formulas that allow you to measure, in this case, month to date invoice versus budget, last year versus this year. Like this is a last year versus this year. You have percentages, you have dollars, so on and so on. So it just goes on and on. You can look at month to date versus the same month last year. You can go month to date versus the prior month. In other words, June versus May. This was just an example of month to date. So it extends to year to date and to year over year. So this is, you know, we're talking about some advanced features. This is a feature that we've added that does not exist in Macola. We've also, because we're developing this software, there was also a need to be able to evaluate margins. And we can call this our margin analysis report, or we can look at this and call it maybe our margin shortfall report. But this is the idea of, I'll get an example here. For this regular product category, in the month of March, it was an 87%. The prior month was only a 64%. So like, what is causing this to be fluctuating like this? Well, you know that you can drill down and see the underlying detail. So here's our margin analysis by category and by customer. Again, the only difference between the two, like if you wanted to create it by sales rep or by territory or customer type, you're just changing, you're going into, technically, you're going into the column chooser. That's this grid, and then you're just changing it around. And you can see what I've done here. I have margin by month. Okay.
I think we have a question back on the MRP regen.
Yes.
Question is that looking at all purchase orders and all bill of materials for open orders?
Well, technically, this is for customer orders that are on a customer order going out, being invoiced out the door. But it's good you brought that up, because in the production module, we have the same thing for, which would include purchase orders, production orders. So the first one is just simply, is there a replenishment scheduled for the ship date for that customer order? But this here, this component shortages for production orders, this is taking into account all of the bills of material, all of the production orders, and there's production orders replenishment and demand, and location. So this is really the one that you probably were asking about here. And what you can do, okay, here's an example that I was trying to show earlier. And we also incorporated the forecast. Here's a situation where I'm looking out, I think 5 days. Let's see here. I'm looking at 5 days, and hopefully I get, yeah. So here's a situation where somebody forgot to place a production order or place a purchase order for this demand. So this is looking out the details over the next 5 days, or 10 days, or 20 days. And then it is looking into infinity, like maybe you have an order that you meant to put it in for June and you keyed it in for January. This would show anything way into the future. But so we're in big trouble here. We're past due, well, almost past due, and we have no replenishment in sight. Let's take a look at some others here. Yeah, see, here's the situation. This is a purchased item. So it's showing you replenishments, but they're insufficient to meet the demand. Like here's production demand, then purchasing replenishment. It's always saying, is this a demand or replenishment or part of the forecast? So we're in trouble here. We have basically 1, 2, 3, we have several production orders and no replenishment anywhere in sight. I mean, you could run this again for, if that was uncertain. Let's look at this for the next 20 days. And again, that was a full MRP regen. And we're going to look here. I think I have the right part. The story did not go away. We still don't have enough, however far you look. So yeah, good question. So we're trying to cover the shortages in all different ways. And give me a minute and we're going to come down into our MRP module and show you some reports that are even more exciting in terms of pinpointing, can I make this or not? Okay, so we talked about, we're going to go into the inventory module. So I'll give you an example here. This is our stock status report. And I want to give you a feel for all the fields that are in cream color. All the fields from here to the right are fields that we calculate in our dashboard software. So again, Macola has an excellent set of database, but it needs months of inventory on hand. It needs 3 and 6, 12 months, 3, 6, and 12 months average usage and total usage. It needs date of last usage, date of last purchase, date of last activity. So we've added all of those fields. Here we've added usage. So for example, in Macola, you can't answer what was my usage in January, what was my usage in February, March, or April. So what we're doing is we're computing average usage and on-hand quantity for the past 24 months. So the idea being, now that you have these additional fields, the story that I remember one of our customers when we first brought this out was one of the guys in production would come into purchasing and, oh, you need to order a purchase order. We're short on this, we're short on this, we're short on this. And so they'd go in here and they'd look and they'd say, I don't understand this here. We just placed a purchase order a month ago. You know, what happened? I'm not going to place another purchase order. You should, you misplaced it. It's got to be out there someplace. Because, well, you look at the usage and see you didn't have any usage. So this is the beginning then of the sophistication that we've added to the standard Macola. Here's an example where we're taking information. This replaces Macola's multiple level item view. And the idea being that I'm doing an MRP regen for one single item. I can look at his historical summary. I can look at the detail. And then we've added buttons up here. So I'm looking at this and I want to look at what my usage history is. And I can click here and get that report to come up, or I can look at open purchase orders. So this is something new. So for those of you who are using our software right now, this is available, you know, after this 3:30 this afternoon. We've also, for those who are on a reorder level calculation, we've provided the ability to update your mins and maxes and safety stock based on your current usage. So for example, if your safety stock is supposed to be keeping 45 days worth of inventory usage, and inventory goes up, usage goes up for that item or goes down, you want to recompute that and have that work. So you're getting the beginning of what we're doing there. In the purchasing module, this is probably the most, you know, talking about data cleanup, this is probably the most telling report. And this is looking at purchase orders scheduled to be received. Our database is in 2001, but we have purchase orders going back 3 and 4 years. Like, what's the deal here? We know that something that old is, the vendor is not going to be shipping it to us. So the idea being that the MRP depends on having accurate on-hand quantities and accurate due dates for those on-hand quantities. So this is very, 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 very insightful. Here's another example where Macola never finished vendor performance. I don't know that we had finished it either, but we're taking a look at one individual vendor. They're late all the time. They've been 80% late. We probably should get rid of them, find somebody else. But we thought it was important to be able to look at the same time, what is the performance of all of our vendors? Are we training our vendors to honor our lead times? Are we training them to notify us if there's a change? So 55% of our incoming purchase order receipts are late compared to our 80%. Now, we have customers who use this with their vendors, and the vendor will say, no, 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 I ship on time all the time. No, so we can look in here. This is all the gory details for early and late for that. So it's something else that we've added that might be helpful. One of the advanced features of our software is the ability to connect two reports together. So I wanted to take year-to-date purchases by vendor. In this case here, I just chose my top 20 vendors. And I wanted to compare that to I wanted to be able to drill down. Instead of drilling down and coming back, drilling down and coming back, I wanted the ability to click on a vendor and see their receipts, in this case for the past 6 months. Here's another kind of example of that where I specify the part number at top, and then I'm able to see the performance down below. This is another one, buying history. So this is where we're able to connect two reports together. So the idea in dashboard is, regardless of the application, whether it's inventory, sales, we have the ability to connect reports together that that provide more insight. In the production module, we've talked about component shortages. This is super sophisticated, and it follows all the same rules as Macola. So if there's any questions, or you might want to see this later, feel free. But let me show you what we've done. It's built into our inventory optimization module. But let me take a look at it right here. Some customers, when the order comes in the door, they want to be able to evaluate that order, and they want to be able to see, can I make that or not? So in case here, this software took a second to refresh. So these are all my customer orders, and I'm drilling down on the item. And what this is below, this is a summarized bill of material, and it's telling me yes, no, do I have the components available? And this is a summarized bill of material, not an indented, in case there's a component that's at multiple levels. So you can see, you just drill down on the part and it tells you this one's not looking very good. They're short on everything. Okay, so this is orders coming in the door. Other people don't do it that way. They, right as the order is being released to the floor, they want to be able to do the same thing. So here are all of our production orders. And again, I'm clicking on this item. It went through the bill of material, summarized it by part. This one, the story is a little bit better. You can see the yes, no. And if it's a no, it's telling you what you needed versus what's available, and so on. So as time has gone by, the reason I'm dwelling on this is that different companies have different ways of looking at it and looking at shortages. Some people like this or don't use this at the customer level. These are the shortages at the production level. Like, my philosophy is, if you focus on just these items, if you get this 175 down to 20, then everything's going to go smoothly, because it means I have a production order that's waiting, or I have a customer order that's waiting. If it's not on the report, you're okay. But this idea of also being able to look at it by customer, look at it by manufacturing production order, that's just another way that people do things. I should have mentioned earlier that another significant enhancement that we've made to our software, let's say that you're operating on a reorder level. I'm going to make believe that I am Pete Bowers in the Cincinnati location, and I'm wanting the system to tell me what do I need to order. Now this particular one is based on reorder levels. It could be based on MRP, but this is just based on. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to look at this vendor. I have the ability to change the quantity here. Like, maybe this comes in boxes of 2,000. We don't have it set up right, so I'm going to order 2,000. But then when I click on this create purchase order, here is my purchase order. I can preset this to be unreleased, released, or printed. I can make changes to the request date. I can even change the vendor if I wanted to. So the whole idea is, when I hit save, this creates a Macola purchase order. This goes away. I go down to the next one, do it, save that, make changes to it, or whatnot. And so this is the purchase order generator that we've developed.
Like, there's a question on this on the previous screen. Is it considering all allocated parts for all orders in place?
Yes, it's including all allocated parts as long as they are stocked and controlled, really controlled, and they have to be active. So, like, I was working with a customer this morning who inherited the purchasing job last week, and he wanted to get rid of pallets off of the pallets and skids off of his replenishment reports. And what you can do is in the MRP setup, that's quite sophisticated also. You have the ability to include or exclude, like in my case, I'm including unreleased production orders, or I'm including unreleased purchase orders, because sometimes people forget to release them, and you think it's been issued because you emailed the purchase order to the vendor, but you never released it. So we have sophistication here. And then you can look at your forecast and you can decide how many weeks you want the forecast to go. So this is part of the setup. And then here, this is our locations. So remember I said this is a multi-location MRP. So what I've done is I've taken my location CI and CIN. That's one location. It's really these three, CIN, and then Kentucky. That's my grouping. So if I want to group the demand and replenishment at multiple locations into one, I can do that. Hopefully it answers the question. If it doesn't, please come back. Well, Bart, are there questions that people? I'm sort of getting to the end of my list here. I anticipated we'd have some questions.
Yeah, just one more. This had to do with centralizing the reports. There's a customer with quite a few custom crystal reports. Is there a way to import or bring those in to Dashboard without creating them from scratch?
Oh, yes. Excellent question. Here's an example of a sales tax report that we converted from Crystal. And part of the philosophy of our software is for those that you want to hang on to your Crystal reports, you extract the SQL code out of there. This is the SQL code that came out of Crystal. And you can move things around and remove or add columns just like normal. So we do have the ability. Technically, what you're doing is you're taking the SQL code out of the reports, and then there's one or two minor things that you have to do is a grouping. Since we already do grouping in Dashboard, the grouping statement has to be removed. I'll give you another example here in the inventory. This multi-level bill of material is the wrong place here. Whoop. Well, this is executing a stored procedure, so that wasn't the. But I was just going to show you that how you can have. I think it was here. I'm just giving you more examples here of this is the single level bill of material. So for those of you who have worked with Monty Guy in the past, he's now retired from us. He wrote this. He was really proud of this. They wrote this. Any other questions, Bart?
No, I believe that's it. If we missed any, or if you think of any, feel free to contact us after the webinar as well.
So one thing that we've done recently is we most of our reports are included at no extra charge. We have some that are super sophisticated and we charge separately for them. So more recently, what we've done is we've created a inventory optimization tab. It's a separate tab up here. And then all of these reports come with that. So the purchase order generator, the component, some of these that you've already seen before. Trying to bring up this. Anyway, we've bundled them all together into one module at one cost. And it includes the purchase order generator. We have another report that some people use, which is called our MRP action report. And for those of you who have worked in automotive, it mimics how automotive has the weeks going across and then the activity down the side. You can see, within half a second if this item has a problem or not, and you move on to the next item. So that's all included here. So again, what we're trying to do, and I think you've seen it, is we're taking the basic Macola database and we've added things to it. A lot of the metrics that you've seen are calculated on the fly, and some of the metrics that you've seen are calculated overnight. So these average days, some of these are there's routines that we've developed that run in the middle of the night. Maybe they take a half hour to run, and they recalculate all this, and then you have it available then for the next day. And so these metrics that we've talked about, whether they're usage on hand, quantities, date of, months on hand, these are now available, not just in a stock status report, it's available every place. So I was working with somebody this morning on site, and he was taking the shortage report and wanting to see what was happening with a number of months on hand, which I'm not, yeah, here, the number, he was adding the number of months on hand to one of his replenishment reports to see how much he had, either didn't have or had too much. He was trying to have a 45-day, he was trying to have a 45 days worth of usage available for all the inventory items. So he was developing these custom reports, and he was using this report to do it. So he just kept going to the column chooser and adding stuff, removing what he didn't need. So here's something unique here. Here's our, for this item, this MRP availability, yes or no. So it's real easy. You don't have to do any math in your head. It's just there, it's available or not. So a lot of, I glossed over this before, but you can, you can drill down, which we did before. Or what you can do is just look here at this top level. Okay, it's refreshing right now. You can look at the top level and see the date of earliest replenishment, the date of, and one thing, what this is doing is if you've not used a report in 30 minutes, it refreshes it from scratch to make sure that you have the right let's go back, we want to go back here. So here we have earliest demand, earliest replenishment, and then the number of orders. So in this case, there's 3 orders that need that by earliest replenishment. So you could sort it down by earliest demand, and then you would know this is where you want to start working, because these are the items that are the most past due.
Mike, if we got a couple more questions, if you have
Go ahead.
more time.
Yep,
okay. One was back on the exporting to Excel. Are there any other options besides Excel, and what do they look like?
Oh yes, on everything that you hit this, here's the Excel button. So what it does is it exports Excel to Excel and then launches and then displays it. But you also have the ability to print it, which means that you have the ability to export it to a PDF file, email it. You can make it to a PDF file and email it. You can print it and so on. So we have tremendous flexibility on how you want it to, yeah, so here, just as an example, here, I'm just going to export it to Excel. So I'm going to say test. So it's saved, and it says you want to open it, launches Excel, there it is. Good questions.
There's one more. Then is there a search on a global level for a specific report when a user may not be familiar with the tab layout or how to navigate?
Yeah, what you can do is, let's start off with inventory. Um, this row right here, this top row, this is the filter row, like the lookup row. So if you know that the part is an E5 something another, um, you can put that in as a filter. If it's something that has to do with sales, or with customers really, um, again the same thing. You have this filter row to be able to get a you know that it's something distributor. So that is the lookup, and it's a contains. So anything, it doesn't have to be the beginning. So that would apply to, if you were looking at vendors, customers, items, um, product categories, and so on. Hopefully I'm answering the right answer there, because um, yeah, you don't have to know, you really don't have to know anything technical about a part to look it up. This filter row allows you pretty much to do that. Or you can hit the filter and say, I want to take Akron, California, and Carolina, and just look up that, or just look up those. And then I'm going to remove the filter down here by just hitting the X. So I was excited today. We have a lot of people sign up today who are brand new to the product. Their company is not using our software right now. So what we offer is a private demonstration. So you call up and you can ask for a demonstration. We also provide the software on a couple day, 1 or 2 or 3 days of running the product with your data. And we provide unlimited phone support, unlimited training, unlimited, what we jokingly say is unlimited retraining. The training can be on a one-on-one basis by department. There are no limitations, and we have infinite patience. So that, and to a certain degree, if a customer calls up and says, I need a margin report by such and such, if it's something where we can take an existing report, make some changes to it, then there's no cost there. If it's a super sophisticated report, then there possibly is a charge. So thanks everybody. We're ahead by 2 minutes. Appreciate everybody's time. The weather here in Cincinnati has been luscious, has been beautiful. I'm going to the East Coast later this week, and it's supposed to be another 20 degrees cooler on the ocean. So enjoy the fall. Enjoy our software. Give us a call if you'd like to talk more about this, and have a good week. Any other questions, Bart? Anything?
Nope, I think that's it.
Okay. Thanks, everybody. Bye-bye.
Bye now.